So hey guys, today we're going to be building Enneacraft, and we're going to do it in definitely the wrong way because why would we want to do it the right way? So let's see. We have multiple options here. We could find a way to search any of the Enneacrafts, like there are ways. So let's just start with this. So this Enneacraft here, whatever the name of this is, are the names all like a little different? Trito, Deftero, Proto, Minato, Torimar, okay, whatever. All these guys are moderately searchable, so it seems like a Torimar is actually not the same type, right? So the big guys are light machines, the small guys are earth machines for some reason. So if we want to search earth machines in general, though, we actually have ways to do it. So this is the easiest way I can think of off the top of my head. We have this effect here. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then discard one card, add one Earth Machine monster from your deck to your hand. And that allows you to search any Earth Machine, and this allows you to somewhat search any Enneacraft card. I mean, there's also the condition that there's like, you need to have 3 of these in your deck, but whatever. There's also one other idea with like Cleave Genius, but that's actually kind of hard to pull off and requires certain effects, basically just pendulum summoning into those zones. So we have that idea. We have Clockwork Knight, which can also generically right here. If this card is link summoned, you send one face-up continuous spell you control to the graveyard, add one Clockwork Knight for your deck to your hand. So this isn't fully generic because you need a non-link machine monster with like absolutely pissed stats. Then after you somehow match that, you still need a face-up continuous spell. But if you do, that allows you to add a Clockwork Knight from your deck to your hand. So we can destroy from field or just discard it for any card effect. That would allow us to trigger Clockwork Knight in theory. And target one machine monster with 1,000 or less attack. You can attribute one machine monster except this card if you special summon that target monster in defense position. Okay. So I don't think this line is going to be like any good at all, but in theory, this can discard any cards you want from hand to the graveyard, just whenever, right? And you can add any World Legacy monster or Orchestrated Babel from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So there is the idea, like I don't think this is a very good idea, but there's some World Legacy cards that are useful-ish with this, and technically we do have machine monsters. I don't think they're the right stat line actually to make Clockwork Knight like at all, right? 1,700, 1,800, 1,200, 500. That one works. But also, this is an Earth, so you're locked into Darks with Orchest. Just generally speaking, I guess Orchest Nightmare works. If we start with like Nightmare Phoenix, and then we put Orchest Nightmare onto the field with Mermaid, we can link it off, right? For Clockwork Knight, we still need a continuous spell, which I believe is searchable, with the effect of Galatea, the Orcus Automaton here. That lets you set a Orcus spell trap from your deck. Then we also have technically like Lib, maybe. We could access Lib. And then there is the idea of using World Armor, which has the effect to search any World Legacy card from deck to your hand. The World Legacy cards, we have a few cards that are useful, I think. Let's see. You can target one face-up monster you control, change it to face-up attack or defense position. This can flip a Torimar face-up in theory. not even really sure how we would have a Torimar in defense at this point. Like tribute set, I guess. That would function. And then there's one other card somewhere. I don't remember the name of this card. It's a trap, right? Nope. Well, actually, this one works technically, right? World Legacy Secret works. World Legacy Sorrow. No. Cliffhanger. Crawler. Struggle. Not Awakens. I'm pretty sure there's like a Monster Reborn effect, right? Aha, here we go. Banish one World Legacy monster from your hand or face up from your field, then target 2 monsters in your graveyard, special summon them, but they cannot attack this turn. Good enough. You can Landmark Reborn the Torimar plus something else in theory. But it would not be face down. So, kind of moot point, I guess. If we do special summon at all, we can't have a Torimar on our field. So, playing Enneacraft the wrong way. I mean, there's probably something you can do with Orcus, but like, I don't even want to humor this anymore. So, the obvious, much easier way to do this stuff, I mean, would be to instead just, end slop. So Electromite, you can just Giga cycle through Electromites. Like, we now have 3 copies of Electromite. And even with 1 copy, you could go special summon Heavy Melthos Electromite, activate effect, go into Promethean Princess, special summon back Electromite, Electromite effect again, make the Atlantis, reset the Electromite more or less, Electromite effect again, so that's 3 activations of Electromite. So now with 3 Electromites, now I guess if you summon these 2 guys additionally, with the exception of like the Z Atlantis reset, if you had Z Atlantis plus multiple Electromite, without including those potential cards, I mean, if we do, it would be like 7 activations of Electromite. Without, it'd be like 5 or so Electromite activations. And it doesn't really help us that much, but I mean, basic idea. We make Electromite using any means. So it's like, just put 2 Pendulum monsters onto the field. Somehow, make Electromite. Put a Torimar or like any of the small Enneacrafts onto your extra deck face up. Then you can pop anything, any card you control. Aside from Electromite, I guess, and then you can add a Torimar from essentially kind of deck to hand. It's kind of like scuffed in a sense, but it gets there eventually. Now that I think about it, if you were playing like pure machines, I think you can get to this also, because this machine locks you, right? No, never mind, this dark machine locks you, and this only searches dark machines. Alright, never mind. That doesn't quite work. But, yeah. If we go into Electromite, we can then access with Torimar. And it wouldn't be like free per se, but because we can access this, we don't even have to add this to our hand necessarily. We could just pen summon this out. And then, like, I'm not saying this is like the best thing in the world, but we can then go into the Atlantis later at some point after this is special summon. Then we can set this back face down. And then, like, this isn't good at all in my opinion, but you then make Coral Guard at some point, just later, and then this has the quick effect of you can target one monster in the field, change it to face-up defense position, allowing you to flip over the Torimar kind of on demand, just whenever you feel like it, I guess. And that'll trigger this. Is there a way we can flip all of these guys to attack position? I mean, simultaneously, we could do that. That sounds fun. Yes. Boral Sword doesn't have a relevant effect for this, right? Does this effect also soft once per turn while we're here? Oddly enough, yes. Okay. Target one attack, change it to defense. Okay. So we want to change from defense to attack. So the only card I can think of at the moment is like all-out attacks. And then maybe a Takua. But that only works on your opponent's monsters. Scareclaw Tryhard doesn't work either because it converts your guys into defense, right? And this only works on face-up monsters, actually. Wow. Anything that can just change everything to face-up position or just attack position in general. I can't think of anything at the moment. But if there was, I mean, probably isn't too hard to access. Well, yeah, this is basically just Daruma Karma Cannon with extra steps at this moment. Well, at this point in time. But I mean, technically, you could use Enneacraft for really, 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 really dumb things, and I guess this counts. I guess. What was the condition for this to flip over, anyways? Oh, this is literally impossible to flip face up by itself. This needs another card to change it to face up attack position, actually. Well, now that I think about it, I think this might be efficient enough to get there. I wouldn't know the combo line, but for Pend, I already see the line to kind of do something with this. I'm not 100% sure how far this goes. But there is a easier to access card than Boral Guard, I think, right? We can access Xiaolong much easier, in my opinion. And we can access pen stuff, right? Change battle position of one monster on the field so it can be your own. Perfect. So that'll help at least with a Torimar if we have multiple Enneacrafts. Yeah, I don't know what we do with those guys, but alright. In theory, if we start with Ignites, this allows us to just search any of our warrior monsters we want, and with kind of like Ignite Isolde combo, we can very easily search Rosin, and then Rosin gets us access to Xiaolong, and then we only need fires to activate Xiaolong anyways. So yeah, we can do things with Xiaolong essentially, right? And then after we resolve all this nonsense, we can use Electromite to place like a Torimar in theory into like our back row. Or not back row, our extra deck. And then we should be able to just get into this stuff, right? Now that I think about it, a really dumb way to access a Torimar would be to send this to the graveyard and then put... Well, actually, no, it doesn't work. I was thinking of putting this, like, in your face-up spell and trap zone with, like, Snake Eye or something. But then I remembered, oh, right, you have to flip this face up still. So you would have to summon this face down in defense position somehow. I don't remember what cards do that, actually. So generically, that's like rough to access, but we do make Zealantis in this build anyways, so we can probably do something with a Gorimar. We do need our normal summon for like... I don't even remember the name of that monster. But the guy that equips the mouse onto itself. We need our normal summon for that guy typically. Hmm. Is there a fire warrior that's like a really high scale? Because if we have a high enough scale, we could use like exceed the pendulum. Now that I think about it, beyond the pendulum can also search it. But yeah, we could make like exceed the pendulum, I think, right? To just special summon it and add it from our extra deck to the hand in theory. For the level between the pendulum scales of the two cards in your pendulum zones. Yeah. Oh, right. It's just any warrior, actually, now that I think about it. Did they fix this so it's easier to search this now? I better not see, like, oh, okay. Now we just need a scale 10 warrior to exist, essentially. And then this combo becomes infinitely more doable. Oh. If you pendulum summon a monster, place this card on either the top or the bottom of the deck. Pendulum effect. Okay. When you draw this card, you can reveal it during your main phase this turn. You can conduct one pendulum summon of a monster from your hand in addition to your pendulum summon. Is this supposed to work with Electromite? You can conduct one pendulum summon of a monster from your hand in addition to your pendulum summon. I mean, either way, this is a high enough scale. And we can search it with Isolde, in theory. I mean, if we place this in the scales, it becomes like slightly problematic in the sense that we need both our scales, I think, right? To activate the Ignite Pend effect. But, you know, aside from that, shouldn't be too bad. And we could at least use this for, like, Exceed the Pendulum to summon out a Torimar, I guess. To just pen summon this out. And then we can flip this face down with the Atlantis layer. Like, it's doing nothing on the field straight up until the point where we, like, wait all the way after all of our setup, we flip it face up with just something in general. Well, in this case, we can use Xiaolong to flip it over, which is kind of cool. And then we could, in theory, continuously set it face down with the Atlantis. Which is, you know, that's something. Can we reborn Zealantis, actually? I don't remember. I think we can't do it with Ambloel. I think it was like Link 3 or lower, right? Yeah. I got a Link 3 or lower monster now, the graveyard special summon it. So we can't reborn Zealantis with this. But you know what? I think this is good enough. So yeah. This is the dumbest way I could think of to utilize Enneacraft. Like, is this efficient? No. Does this like do anything for you? No. But can you do it? Yes. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.